Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, My Asexual Life. It's a place to be for education about asexuality. So hit that bell icon and subscribe right now. So, have you ever been in a situation where you have posted in a dating group or on a dating site and you've had your post removed because you're asexual? And have you ever had someone from dating groups behaving a bit erratically and you're like thinking, what's the hell is going on here? If you have, then stay tuned because I'm going to be revealing to you some of the red flag behaviors you need to watch out for when you're dating and what they actually mean. So, first of all, I want to let you know that I was, in fact, had my post removed. So, I've been in an Indian dating group on Facebook since April, and I posted a bio in there about what I was looking for, and it got removed, and it said that basically it'd been removed because it'd been automatically removed because wait, oh, I can't do it. I'm trying to show you Facebook without showing you all my friends. I did have it set up, but I can't show you now, I don't think. But anyway, I've got a post on my Facebook that basically shows that I was oh, here it is. I'm trying to do it so I don't show you my friends list, although my friends are I'm public anyway. But basically, I'm trying to show you this. So this was the post I had in the group, the Indian dating group, and it was like removed. And I don't know why it was removed, but if you can see it, it says it was removed. And, this is like, this had like loads and loads of people, over 300 people liking and, well, 300 people commenting on it, right? And this has been on there since April, and all of a sudden it was removed. So clearly it's been removed because I'm asexual and they don't like the fact that an asexual's in their group, but it said it had been automatically removed. So I tried to add it back again because it said you could edit it and there was no feedback. So I edited it and just added the fact that I do want a Indian guy in the UK of his own accord. And I already said that, is there any guys, Indian guys in the UK? And anyway, basically, I just got declined straight away by an admin. So I don't know who reported me, but pretty much the same time, this guy started messaging me from that group. So I don't know if he reported me. He said he didn't, but I think it's very highly suspicious that I got removed from that group at the same time that he started talking to me. It just seems very bizarre to me. I know I had a guy a few was it like a week or so ago who was being really nasty to me in that group, and he was saying in private message to me, "Oh, I think me and you'll make the ideal match." Then he was in the group saying something and saying, "Oh, no one would want to be with you, you old woman." I'm not an old woman, right? But he was just being nasty and putting me down. I said, "Well, that's not what you said in private message." And then he goes, because he was laughing at me, going, "Oh, you're, being nasty." And I said, "Well, actually, the joke's on you, isn't it? Because you're the one who private messaged me, and now you've removed the message." He removed the message, but clearly the fact he even messaged me privately means he was interested in me, because you wouldn't message someone you ain't been interested in, would you? So he was just being nasty and horrible. So I said, basically, the joke's on you, because if you're the one messaging me, like if a guy really thought that, which obviously he's just being nasty, but if that was true, he wouldn't message me in the first place. It's like, "Oh, why would I want a relationship with you?" And it's like, why did you put that on my inbox then? So that was the end of him. So I don't know if he reported me or what, but it says my post was reported like at least one time in the last 30 days. But I'm highly suspicious that it might have been the guy that started speaking to me. But it's a shame because he had a lot in common with me and he was from the UK. But I've had to block him now because his behavior was quite erratic. So some of the red flags you need to look out for if you are in a dating group, like, clearly they've done me a favor, by the way, by not being in this dating group anymore, because I have to say I've been asked for money in the dating group. I got guys constantly in my inbox, usually want a visa, usually wanting to come and live with me and all this load of rubbish. Clearly they're not interested in me. They just like, want stupid stuff like that. But anyway, there's a guy that connected with me from the UK and I really liked him and we had a lot in common. But I've had to block him because his behavior is very erratic. So some of the red flag behavior you have to look out for is something called love bombing. And basically this means that they shower you with compliments and get, like compliments. If they knew in person, it could be like lots of gifts, but basically it's when a person enters your life and they're like showering you with loads of compliments, loads of affection, loads of like love stuff. And basically, this is to usually elicit emotions out of you. So it elicits an emotional response, and it usually makes you emotionally connected to them and attracted to them. So I was aware that he was sending me a lot of messages, like sometimes 10 or 20 messages at once, but they were very erratic. Some was like, bye, cheers, love, kiss, hug, bless you, God bless you, good luck in your life. And then he'd start talking to me. So he'd write something like bye, and then and the next minute he was talking to me again. It's very, very erratic behavior. And obviously, anything that's erratic behavior like that, you have to be careful of. It was interesting with him because he did share a lot of personal details, which obviously I'm not going to share because I do keep people's confidentiality. But he shared a lot of stuff about his family and his background and stuff. But then you could argue, why is he doing that when I'm a stranger? He doesn't even know me. I only started talking to this guy like a couple of days ago. And so the messages were very excessive, and some of them were like love stuff and romance stuff. And then he was saying, on the other hand, that, oh, he couldn't, like, he's not ready for a relationship yet he's been looking for 6 or 7 years. So I think if someone's been looking for someone for 6 or 7 years, then clearly they're probably going to be ready for a relationship. And he was contradicting himself. So he was saying, like, oh yeah, I said, are you on a lot of dating sites? He said, yeah, I'm on loads of dating sites. Then the next one he's saying, oh no, I'm just on one, the same one that you're on, which isn't even a dating site, it was a dating group. And so, it's contradictions, very, like, a lot of love bombing type of stuff going on. I don't think necessarily he's a nasty, horrible person. He wasn't being nasty or horrible to me. In essence, he wasn't doing that, but obviously there's stuff in there that, could be seen as potentially manipulative if it carried on. But I would say just that it was a very interesting interaction. I wish him well in his life. He was saying, like, lots of nice stuff, but then he was over saying it. But then it was really weird because you don't speak to someone, you don't like cheers, bye, love, kiss, bless you, may everything be great in your life. Like, the way he talks was like, oh, I'm gonna leave now, I'm gonna say goodbye, but then I'm not going to, but then I am. But it was weird because he was like, he did say, I'll message you later, and then did message me later. So he did follow through on that. But he said about a call, like, oh, can we do a call? And then I said, well, no, I'm busy at the moment. And I said, I like to arrange calls. And it's kind of like, oh, well, then I'll let you know. And then it's like, and then he said to me, and then he kept calling me his best friend when I'd only just met him. I'm like, I don't call people. I'm not going to call you my best friend when I've only just met you. Like, this is huge red flaggy stuff, love bombing, erratic behavior, saying like, oh, you're my, your best friend when they don't even know you. And it's just very, very, like, weird behavior. And he was like liking on my posts. He must have liked about 20 of my social media posts or more. Yeah, he can't even arrange a video call with me. So I said to him, like, today, like, I've got really bad news now because my landlord's definitely confirmed that I have to move out. Ideally by the 27th of December, because that's when my tenancy runs out. So I've been quite sad about that. And this is another red flag. I messaged him to let him know because he asked me how my day was, and then he's hearted it. And so that means he's very insensitive. You don't heart someone and someone's news when it's absolutely devastating for them. I mean, I have been here 18 years. I don't usually like talk about this much, but I've been there 18 years. I've lived here on my own. I did live home early though. I left my parents when I was young. Younger, I should say. I was like 19 when I left. Yeah. And so anyway, in birth certificate age. So, it was just like, I've had a really upsetting day because I've got to move and I don't have anywhere to go to currently. And then he hearted the message like that. And that's really, really insensitive. So obviously there is potential that he's really, well, I already told him in the end, he's not a good guy for me. He's insensitive and it's not a good guy. And when I told him about the fact, I said, why did you heart that when I've been here so long and it's really upsetting for me? And then he sent me a blank message. So he sent me a voice message. It was blank. I mean, this is like a minimal effort guy who is not genuine, who is not being honest or real. Like, you don't do that to someone. You don't, like, leave blank messages, because I said, he said to me, "Oh, you can come and live with me," which is a major red flag. Like, I've known this guy less than 48 hours, and he's asking me to go and live with him, and he goes, "Oh, I'm trying to help you." Clearly he's not, because I already told him I don't like living with someone, and there's absolutely no way I would go and live with a stranger, especially one who can't even video call me. I said, "You can't even commit to video calling me. There's absolutely no way I would do that." It's like, I'm trying to help you. Clearly he's not trying to help me at all. And then, like, I said, "You can't even commit to video calling me." Do you know what I mean? So then he tried to video call with me then. I said, "No, I can't do it now. It's inconvenient. I'm not just doing it to your convenience, you know?" And so I said to him, he goes, "Oh, in regards to video call, oh, I'm busy. Like, my work's like apparently very busy." I said, "Well, I know you must get your rota like at least a week in advance. And people, if a guy likes a girl, he'll make time. If he doesn't, he'll make excuses," which is basically what he was doing, making excuses. And before this, he made out that he really likes me, but he's just not ready to commit to a relationship. I said I wouldn't obviously be in a relationship with a guy I've just met anyway, but we met through the dating group. So, we had a lot in common. Like, a lot of our backgrounds very similar or the same, like retail background, worked in electronics. We both worked in a photography studio, both like movies and music, both like video editing. So, both love social media. So, there's quite a bit in common there, like some of the same songs and movies. And so that was a shame, really. But, like, he was saying he could live without sex, but I doubt he could. And then, in the end, um, I was basically saying to him that clearly you're not suitable for me, you know, and that you're not a good guy for me, you know? And then in the end, he goes, "Oh, well, I'll invite you to my wedding." And it's like, "No, I have to leave your life now. Goodbye," and blocked him, you know? It's like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to stick around to be insulted like that. I found it very insulting. It's like, you've come in my life from a dating group, you've sent me all these love messages, love videos, love texts, liked loads of my posts like you really crazy about me, sent me multiple, like, 20 messages at a time, act like you really like me, and then turn around when I basically called him out on basically making excuses not to video call me, after he'd asked me to go and live with him. Then he's telling me he's gonna get married to someone else, basically. It's like a flaming insult. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how horrible is that? That's like me going in a group, like, getting an emotional bond with a guy. Guy really likes me, and then I turn around and go, "Oh, I mean, I'll let you know when I meet my partner, and then you can come celebrate with me." It's just like a slap in the face, like a virtual slap in the face. Do you know what I mean? But I wish him the best of luck. I mean, he was nice in some of his messages, but the messages are very erratic. Because last night he was like, "Oh, I'm not ready for a relationship yet," but clearly he is. When he said about, "Oh, I'll let you know when I get married." So clearly he is ready for a relationship with a girl who marry him, which definitely will not be me. I already told him I'm not interested in marriage. So it's just awful when guys do this type of thing. They love bomb. They contradict themselves. They say about going to live with them when you don't even know them. They say you're the best friend when they don't even know you. It's just not good behavior. It's very erratic behavior. It's not completely honest behavior. It's just a shame, because I probably could have gotten really well with him had he been good for me. Because we did have loads in common. And so, yeah, it's quite sad in that way. But I'm glad that I've made the decision to, like, block him out of my life. There is absolutely no way I want communication with it. There's absolutely no way I want to continue to communicate with a guy who can't even put the time, energy, and effort into video call me and arrange video calls. Like, because I'm going through quite a lot of trauma at the moment, because obviously I've got to move out of here, which is really upsetting after I've been here so long. And my best asexual friend Sammy is Skyping me tomorrow. they're at their aunties at the moment. Then my other best friend Andy is phone calling me on Saturday, and then my close friend Roger is doing a video call with me on Sunday, and they're all giving me like this extra support, which I do really need at the moment. These are good people. So what I would say is if you think something's red flaggy, then it usually is. And also, like compare how this person is when they're saying, "Oh, I like you so much." Compare how their behavior is to your actual best and closest friends. Like if your best and closest friends work and they can make time for you and they're asking when to call you and stuff like that, if they can make time for you, your best and closest friends, but a guy who says, "Oh, he's into you," or who gives you a mixed signals like, "Oh, I really like you, but like I'm not ready for a relationship, but love, kiss, hug, and all the rest of it." And then it's like, clearly at the end, if they're going to marry someone, which isn't going to be me, then they are ready to commit. It just means I'm not the right person for them and I don't want to waste my time. So always, always, if you've got a guy who's interested in you, he will not make excuses. He will literally like arrange the video call ASAP. He won't play games or mess you around. Guys who do this are just not good guys. And it's completely red flags if they say anything like love you when they don't even know you, or he kept saying about best friend when I don't even know him. I'm not going to be best friends with someone just like that. People have to earn my friendship just like I have to earn theirs. Like some people I've just become really good best friends with very quickly, but they are genuine people and I just got on automatically with them. Like all my best and close friends I've really just got on very quickly with. But it like I wasn't like I go around saying you're my best friend straight away exactly. And it's just different with them because they're all really trustworthy people and so honest. And the first time I met my best friend Sammy, we got on really well when we met each other in person. The first time we did become best friends and become best friends ever since. And my other best friend Andy, we became like really best friends over time, right? We were really close and good friends before that. We just got best friends. Like, and then my two close friends as well. Thanks for the thumbs up. My two close friends as well. We only met this year. One at my asexual meetup, and I met the other person online actually coming into one of my dating groups, and I just instantly got on well with those people as well. Pretty much, well, I say instantly, it's probably after a short period of time. But these people are all like, really good people. But if you are actually looking to date and you compare the person who's meant to be into you to your best and closest friends, and they're not even living up to the basic standard of friendship, then you know that that person is no good for you, right? If they can't even have a proper foundation of like caring enough about you and being sensitive, kind, etc., then you know that they're just not right. So to recap then on what I've been saying in this video, like erratic behavior is a huge red flag. So please, like if you see erratic behavior, it normally means that the person's no good for you, but you can give them the benefit of doubt by just monitoring it for a bit and see how it goes. Because some people are socially awkward. Some people have been through difficult experiences to do with past relationships that might make them awkward in communication. And, you do kind of like, well, you don't have to give them any time. You can just think this is erratic behavior and block them straight away or get rid of them out of your life, which some people probably would do. If you want to give them a benefit of the doubt, you could just leave it for a little while to monitor and see if their communication gets any better with you. But communication, effective communication, is the number one way of any friendship or type of relationship developing. And if someone's got erratic behavior, you really are not going to be that stable with them because you're not really going to know exactly if you can trust them. And it's going to be like kind of a bit muddled and kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. So I would avoid people with erratic behavior or get them out of your life as soon as possible unless things clear up very quickly. Like I said, some people do have social anxiety, some people do have certain tendencies, but again, they might just not be ready for a relationship anyway, in which case you've got to, I'm talking about dating now, you need to move on. Do not act, do not think a person is going to change and just all of a sudden be the right person for you if they've said they're not ready for a relationship, because usually it means they're not ready for a relationship with you. It doesn't mean they're not ready for a relationship with someone else necessarily. But sometimes people are just not good in relationships. Sometimes people have got so many difficulties in their life. It could be mental health difficulties. I know some people who've got mental health difficulties who are fine in relationships. I know other people who just can't even have a relationship. It's too much for their mental health for them to cope with. So you have to take them on an individual basis. Um, but someone who's got erratic behavior is usually no good. Someone who starts talking about loving you, or in this case, best friends straight away, they don't even know you, like acting like they're really familiar with you when they don't even know you, they've only just met you. This is a huge red flag. Asking for you to go and live with them when they won't even video call with you. This is like the biggest red flag. This is like the castle of red flags. You just don't go and do it. You do not go and move for the stranger, especially one the kind of video call you. It's just preposterous. And usually people who ask that question are actually manipulators. They turn out to be bad people, because you do not want to. What happens is if someone asks you to move in with them super quickly, it usually is a form of control. So they get you in their place, and you are financially reliant on them and dependent on them then. And then basically, you you can't get out of it, and they can turn abusive or use you or just be very controlling and manipulative. So you do not want to keep these people in your life that talk about this stuff, even if they're trying to do it to help you. That's what it's disguised as. You don't want to be messing around with a person like that, right? Someone who genuinely likes you and cares about you will make time for you. They won't make excuses, and they certainly won't want to just jump into something like moving in together when you don't even know each other. And like I said, in the end, this guy's like, "Oh, I'll invite you to my wedding with someone else because I said you're not going to be suitable for me." It's like, yeah, like it's very insulting. There's absolutely no way I'm going to stick around for you to marry someone else, mate, and watch you do it. You know what I mean? It's not on. I just like, nah, I don't need that person in my life. These people, they take up a lot of time, energy, and effort, and they need to, he did put in time, energy, and effort, but that's why I was quite surprised that he mustn't have I think he maybe liked me as a person, but not enough to even be a proper friend. Like, all my friends video call me or phone me or see me. Do you know what I mean? Like, they do one or the other or all three. So, I mean, I've had guys on dating sites that have like literally wanted to call me quite soon afterwards because they really excited to talk to me. It's a shame with him though, because I did have a lot in common with him, but I just think clearly I'm not the right person for him, and he's not the right person for me. And this guy was Indian, so it's quite sad, but I'm getting quite fed up with Indian guys now. Maybe I need to be with a British guy instead after all, because it's just like I'm just getting so fed up with it. Like, I've always thought I have an Indian soulmate. I guess I probably never ever stopped thinking that, but I'm just getting so discouraged now with the amount of Indian guys I meet online. They're just not good guys. Some of them are married. Like, there was a guy who messaged me the other day, and this was really disgusting. Another red flag. I didn't actually know he was married. He told me, he messaged me before some time ago, and I said, "Oh, you wouldn't be suitable because I'm looking for a guy in the UK, not abroad in India." And he never said at that point, "I'm married, so I'm not looking for that." And he just like said, "Okay," and that was it. And then he came back in the last few days and he said to me, "Oh," he said something to me. And then I said, "I'm looking for a guy in the UK." He goes, "Oh, I'm married anyway, so I'm not looking for that." And then he turned around and said to me, "Oh, I try and like friend women who've got pain in their heart." And I thought, you absolute beep. This is really bad. So basically, he tries to find women that are very vulnerable and, you know, who he thinks are lonely and got pain in their heart from not finding a relationship, and then tries to friend them to get them emotionally hooked on him. This is like codependency. He's married. I said, if you're a happily married man, you wouldn't even be doing this. He's go, "Oh, I'm happily married with my family." I'm thinking, well, clearly you're not. Why go around trying to latch on to women? Because he said to me, "Oh, have you find someone for a relationship yet?" I said, "No." And that's when he told me he was married. And he said, "Oh, I just want to be like a good friend to you." It's like, no, you want me for an emotional connection. You're a bit on the side. You've got to understand if you're asexual that guys who are heterosexual can use you as a bit on the side for an emotional relationship connection. This is just like cheating. You've got to understand this. It's not like I know some asexuals, they think this is fine. It's entirely your life and up to you what you do. And if you think that behavior is fine, then you think it's fine. But I have to let you know that it's not on for a guy or anyone to use someone to have an emotional, basically, affair with. It's just disgusting. And I don't like seeing asexuals used like that or anyone used like that. A lot of the guys that are on the internet, they prey on older women as well, who they think is lonely and vulnerable. There's quite a lot of guys abroad, obviously, who try and like older women for a visa and stuff. I'm really not interested. I always say I'm not interested in getting married, because I'm not. I don't need marriage. I've been single for years and I don't need marriage. Um, and I'm not interested in it. I think marriage a lot of the time is like a chain to being a slave. It's like I'm not gonna be a slave to a guy, do you know what I mean? Especially, I guess, in foreign culture, because a lot of men expect women to be subservient for them and cook and clean for them. And it's like, F off, excuse my language. It's just like I'm not interested. And so I don't know if the guy who I was just talking about a few minutes ago, like, was the one who reported me in the Indian dating group. But basically, my post has been removed now, so I don't even know if I've been actually taken out of the group. But I don't know, because I tried to post it again, I was just declined it, which means I must have been in the group to try and post it again. But, there's not really much point in me being in there. I just get jerks in there. Guys just coming and just, like I said, they're like, some want money, some want visa, some want a job, some want a home. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke in a bad way. I don't mean it's a joke as in, oh, ha, ha. I mean, it's a joke as in it's a disgusting insult. No guy should be after women for jobs or money. Like, since when has that been a thing? What makes a guy strong is definitely not that. If a guy has to, like, use women, that's not a strong guy. That's a very weak guy who does that. It's disgusting. I hate guys like that. So some guys want to pass the time as well. You've got to be very careful of this. So on dating sites, some guys are just bored or they're lonely themselves and they literally just want to chat to you because you happen to be around and they're lonely. That's not a reason to connect with someone just because you're lonely. Like, you don't need that type of person in your life that's just sucking your energy because they're lonely and they're just like using you. I had people when I was when like COVID hit and there was lockdown, I had guys messaging me and talking to me then as soon as they went back to their work, they just stopped. And it was just to use me because they were, like, lonely and they were passing the time, and that is disgusting. So if you think that anyone who you're messaging, if you think they're passing the time, so how can you tell if they're passing their time is if basically they don't make time for you in their life when they're busy. If they're only talking to you and messaging you when it's convenient to them, obviously it has to be convenient to them to a certain extent. They've got a life of their own. They can't, like, just be messaging you and calling you when you want. But if all they're doing is messaging you and trying to call you or even not calling you to their convenience, and they're not even respectful of your time, they're not booking times in to talk to you, they're not having, like anyone who's meeting up in person usually has to pre-arrange that. With me, I pre-arrange Skype calls with my friends, I pre-arrange phone calls because I have a lot of stuff going on and work I need to do. It's no good for person saying to me, "Oh, well, I'll let you know later that day." That's just completely cocked up my day because I need to know what I'm doing for the day. And often I'm offline for a period of time if I know I need to get a lot of work done. I can't be online waiting for someone to decide, oh, well, I might be able to call you now, but then I might not. I'll see what I'm doing. This type of guy is absolutely no good for me. And these type of people are wasting your time, unless you're a person that absolutely loves spontaneity and doesn't mind a person dropping in on you, either in person or in conversation, like phoning you whenever they feel like it, which I wouldn't encourage. But unless you're that type of person, then it's not good. And a majority of people, like, do you want, for example, if you had someone coming in your home to visit you, You'd like some notice usually, wouldn't you? Well, I would. I'm that type of person. I know some people have an open house and they don't mind who drops in whenever. I've never been that type of person. I don't like people just dropping in. I like to know if people are coming because I like to know that like I'm busy in my time. Like I might be like I was just got out the shower early and I was naked. And the guy who wouldn't even video call me, I said, "You can't even commit to video call me." He then decided to try and video call me when I was literally naked. I didn't tell him I was naked. I just said it's an inconvenient time now, which it was. But obviously, like, you can't just have someone like randomly start video calling you when they feel like it because it might be very inconvenient. And it's basically disrespecting you and disrespecting your time. It's basically saying, "Oh, well, you're at my beck and call. Whenever I feel like video chatting to you or phoning you, I will, regardless of your time. I don't care about it. I'll just do what I want when I want." And that is not the way to behave in any healthy friendship or relationship. I do know some people can be spontaneous, so I'm not saying that not be spontaneous at all. And I'm not saying that families who don't mind people dropping in, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But if you are thinking about any type of relationship or friendship and all you're doing is being at the beck and call of other people, so all you're doing is waiting around for people to phone you or waiting around for maybe getting a phone call, maybe having a video call, maybe someone's coming over, this is not valuing yourself or your time. You need to put boundaries in place like I do and say, "Look, if you wanna call me, I'd love a call, but I need to know when you want to call, what time, what day and date, basically, because I need and know, these are the times and days I'm actually busy already." Because this is all about valuing your own worth and valuing your time, right? You shouldn't be like a doormat to people where people just feel they can come in and out when they please. That's not how life works in a healthy way. You've got to make sure you put boundaries in place and say, "Hey, these are the days and times I'm free. Like let's mutually agree when we're both free." You can't expect someone to be free when you're free all the time or vice versa. Like all my friends have busy lives, right? But when we make time for each other, we make time, we put it on our calendars. That time is designed for us, and then we make sure we're there. Like my friend who I'm video calling who lives in Spain, he works like 5 days a week, very hard work, and he gets the weekends off, right? And he could choose to do whatever he wants with his weekends. He doesn't have to spend it with me, and he does spend it with other friends. He doesn't spend every weekend with me. But the fact we're going to do a video call this week, and it's really nice of him because obviously he's taking time out of his weekend that he could be spending with other people to spend it with me. And we're going to arrange it to a mutual convenient time. And that's called respecting each other's time, respecting each other's worth, respecting each other's value, and appreciating each other. Like, usually, there's some time in the month we make time for each other. But the whole point is we do make time, even though we lead busy lives. Because if someone's really important to you in your life, you make time for them. This includes your friends. This is when you got good quality friends. In the past, I used to have bad friends, like bad quality friends. They were not even real friends, I would say. Like I was the one that was always phoning them up at a time suitable to them. And they hardly ever called me. This is my friends going back years ago. And it was just like horrible. It was like all one sided. But I don't have that situation anymore. Like all of my friends, like my close friends and best friends, they're like, they like keep in touch and like they ask me sometimes like when can I call you and when can I see you? It's not one sided. And that's the way life should be. So if you're ever doing a dating scenario and you just feel like, "Oh, I'm the one who's like having to give up my time whenever they feel like it. I'm the one who's having to drop things. I'm the one who's like on tenterhooks, not knowing if they're going to call tonight or not because they said they might do. I don't know if I'm free." You don't want to be getting into that type of scenario. You want to make it clear from the beginning of your friendship, relationship, or connection with them that this is the way you lead your life, and that if someone wants a video call or phone call, they need to book in the time with you. Some people won't like it, but usually it's the people that are not good people that don't like that. I had a guy and a long time ago on Facebook dating, I'm taking a break from there now. And he literally was like saying, "I hate people like you." Because I said, "You need to like mate, I can't just take a call now. I need to like I'd only just met him as well. I said, "I can't just do a call now. I need to do it when it's convenient for both of us. I need to book it in my calendar." He goes, "Oh, I hate people like you." He had got severe mental health difficulties, he did say. But, that's fine if he hates people like me. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna have anyone thinking that they can just randomly phone call me whenever they feel like it. It's a bad red flag. I know loads of guys who are in the dating groups and on dating sites, and they just like phone whenever they want. This is a huge red flag. This is not respecting you, respecting your time. It's just basically catering to their whims, their needs when they feel like it. It's just not nice. It's a bit like, when someone wants sex and it's like, I want it now, so I'm just gonna like go for it now. I know it's not exactly the same because it's not sex, it's not physical, but it's basically trying to get something when they want it, regardless of how you feel about it. This is the same principle that's applied to randomly calling you without even asking you, like you've got to be careful as well because sometimes in the past, when someone's trying to video call me, I by accident, it's just like all of a sudden clicked a video camera. And if you've got a guy on the internet who's not good and they're trying to show you their private parts, which is disgusting, which I have actually had a guy like all of a sudden just video call me and he's lying in bed and is starting to try and pull the bed covers up. I'm like block immediately. But Facebook is very difficult sometimes. Like if you're in the middle of a video call with someone, you often have to end it and then try and block them as you end it. And sometimes it doesn't always work straight away. So you've got to be very careful. I mean, if a person's not prepared to show their face on camera, don't bother staying in touch with them because at the end of the day, if they actually want anything serious with you, then, and they can't even bother to show their face. This is for people who, like, I'm not talking about pen pals, like, traditional pen pals. I'm talking about someone who's interested in dating or relationship with you, this type of thing, or even a friendship, right? A serious friendship. Then you need to be able to see their face on camera. You need to be able to see them unless you do meet up. And, like, I don't usually meet up with anyone one to one without seeing them on video camera first. It's a safety thing. And if a person's not even prepared to show their face for a few minutes on camera, then I'm not interested. I do not want to do that. If it's like an asexual meetup and I'm meeting a whole group of people, like then that's different. I don't mind meeting people like I've never met before in an asexual meetup. But if it's something like a guy off a dating site who all of a sudden just wants to meet up with me, I've not even seen him on video camera, I'm not gonna do that. Because like I've had people guys who are not even who they say they are, or they are who they say they are, but not in terms of looks. Like their picture is like they were when they were in their early 20s or younger. And then you find that they're like much older than that. They're like 3 or 4 decades older and they look completely different. And a lot of these are scammers. People who write copy and paste generic messages as well are often scammers. So you can find like sometimes they'll copy and paste stuff that's like designed to elicit, is that the right word? Elicit certain emotions out of you because it's like proven that certain words will basically elicit certain emotions within women. So they do it on purpose to emotionally hook you to them so you already start a codependent relationship so they can control you and manipulate you at any given point. And so, if you find that person's just generically copy and pasting stuff, it's not a good sign because it means they usually do this to a lot of women. They're usually like well versed in it. They're usually used to it. And a guy just copies and pastes stuff. Really? Seriously? Is he going to be relationship material? No. Is he going to be proper dating material? No. Is he going to be proper friendship material? No, because he's just copy and pasting. That's basically saying, I don't care about you. I can't be asked. I'm going to do the minimal effort I can to possibly get you and communicate with you so I can keep you hooked on me. And I'm going to send you this stuff to basically make you feel emotionally hooked on me. And then I'm just going to not bother spending much time with you, paying much attention to you. Or I'm just going to like love bomb you and pay you excessive attention. So you're more hooked on me. And then I'm going to withdraw at some point because, I don't really want you anyway. I want someone else, but I just like keep you hooked on a piece of rope like a fish or a worm that a fish is eating. This is what they do. And it's really, really sad. I'm not saying all guys are like this. I'm not saying all people are like this. I have got really good best friends, close friends, and none of these people would do that type of thing. Right? Three of my friends, like one of my best friends and two of my close friends, they're all asexual. The other best friend isn't asexual. But I actually met them originally on asexual dating site because they thought they were asexual originally. And So yeah, they're all amazing people and none of them behave like this. None of them behave erratically. None of them like behave like in a weird ways. None of them like disrespect my time. None of them take me for granted. None of them make me feel like, oh, are they ever going to speak to me again or not? None of them like love bomb me. None of them like disrespect me. They're all really good people. And so, although I haven't met a healthy guy for me for a relationship yet, I have met really and got really healthy people in my life now as friends, and I'm so glad those friends are in my life. I feel really comfortable with them. I feel really like reassured that they're there for me, especially in hard times, not just in good. Because I said at the beginning of this video that sadly my landlord has decided to definitely sell the place, and I have to vacate now. So I've just been given that news several hours ago, and it's really upsetting me. But that's what I said. If you watched this video earlier, that the guy who I just blocked out of my life, he hearted a message like that. How insensitive is that? I'm really, really upset that I've got to leave a home here that I've loved for years. Yet he's hearting the message like, "Oh, I love your message," saying you're upset, and that that I've got to leave my home. I mean, why would someone do that? Why would someone heart a message like that unless they're completely insane? Or in this case, insensitive. I just said, "You're not a suitable guy for me. You're clearly insensitive guy, and you're no good for me." He did say sorry, but you know what I mean? It doesn't really cut it. So I told him it's not suitable for me. And so we've moved on. We parted in a nice way, really. There's no like really hard feelings as such, but obviously I've just explained a lot of the red flag behavior he had, and so it's good that I've just like blocked him now. It is a shame in some ways, but it's definitely for the best. But I am getting very despondent now with Indian guys. I'm like, really, like, seriously, is this the way that a lot of them behave? Why? Why are they like this? It's like, but I know that culture is very different, and a lot of them do want marriage and they want, a housewife and stuff. It's like, that's really not who I am. I'm sure there's an Indian guy in the world somewhere that's looking for someone like me, though, that's like likes an older girl, but for an older girl to look younger and for an older girl to behave younger, but still have a lot of experience and a guy who's probably doesn't want marriage because he's fed up with like traditional Indian marriage. I know a lot of Indians aren't fed up with it, but I'm just saying there's bound to be like one Indian who just can't stand it. Is just think, I just want an older girl who doesn't look who doesn't look that old and who like leads a young life so I can do lots of young things with her, and who doesn't like want to be the same as this culture and do all the social norm things, and who does love kissing and who does want to like not get married and not have kids and is okay living separately. I'm sure there's at least one Indian guy in the world that's looking for a girl like me. I just haven't found him yet. There's bound to be someone. I think there's like everyone's unique and different. And there's probably one guy that's going, I like older women, but I don't want one that's been married before, one that's got kids, because I really don't want to be a dad. And I like my independence, so I like to live on my own. And I really don't want to get married. And I just hate all that conventional stuff. And he's probably like there tearing his hair out, thinking, God, I just wish I had this type of girl. Like, where is she? But he's probably finding it really hard to get an older woman that hasn't been married before, that hasn't got children, because a lot of even like a lot of women in their like early to mid 20s, or even like maybe a little bit older, have kids like now. Do you know what I mean? I know quite a lot of people that get married in their early 20s, like, or at least mid 20s. By 24, 25, a lot of the people I know get married. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, really? That's a bit young. So there's probably like a guy that's really into older girl, and but they want someone who's young like me, like does young stuff, like goes clubbing and go to theme parks, sees aquariums and has a lovely time. And he just doesn't want all the baggage of having a woman that's like been divorced possibly and got kids and that maybe even older than he is. And it's like, oh my God, I just don't want that. Like, where is this girl who isn't divorced, who hasn't got kids, who's like free in that way, who's never been married before, and who's like older but looks younger, and who like he would really get on well with, and who's a nice person. It's like, I'm here. But there's probably one guy and he's tearing his hair out. He's probably like somewhere in Australia or something, an Indian guy in Australia, you never know. And, and he's going, "Ah, I just want this girl. Where is she?" And he's like, "I'm trying to find a needle in a haystack." And I'm like, "Well, I'm the needle in the haystack." You know what I mean? So, I do think that sometimes there's just someone out there looking for someone. It's a shame about the guy that I had to just block because I had a lot in common with him. But, at the end of the day, if he wants to go marry someone else, then I wish him luck because I don't want marriage anyway, He wasn't asexual anyway, um so yes, I would say back to the drawing board, but I just think, I've had enough of like the dating scene. And I just get really despondent with Indian guys now. I'm like, really? Are they all like this? It's like they can't all be bad guys, surely. There's got to be some really nice Indian guys out there somewhere in the world that's not got this behavior. But it just seems like I don't know what goes on. It almost seems like they need like school or college or uni or whatever educating in India on how to treat women right, on how to not have weird, strange, erratic behavior, on how to actually have effective communication skills, on how to be strong for a woman, on how to be like strong but not manipulative, strong but not possessive, strong but not obsessive, strong but not controlling, strong but not not psychologically dangerous, you know what I mean? It's kind of like I really wish that someone was there to like educate them because it just seems to me that a lot of them have got very strange, weird behavior and it's quite erratic and it's not always logical and sometimes it's very needy and other times it's kind of like very avoidant and it's like what's going on, like just like where are the good guys? Like seriously. I don't believe all of them are like that. But that's just like a lot of my experience lately, so I've just got very despondent towards that. I'm like maybe I just like should be with a British guy who's not so needing marriage and not so reserved and stuff because I like my freedom in a relationship, like to kiss and cuddle and hold hands and do all that type of thing publicly. I don't want to be like a caged animal or something, but I just think I'm much better single at the moment. Single and then go clubbing sometimes, but I've got to worry about moving home now. It's like, oh great, I like have nowhere to go at the moment. So it's going to be difficult for me, and it means I'm going to have to leave this beautiful home that you've known me in for years. It's like going to be really difficult for me, but and I don't. That's why I had to block the guy as well because I don't need someone who's like making my life upsetting me anymore. Like any guy who's like hearting a message where I'm really upset. It's not a good guy who does that. If you ever start saying something to a guy and you're pouring your heart out to him or any gender and they lack empathy, that's not good. And they lack like feeling for you and they like something that they shouldn't like. Thanks for the thumbs up. It's really not good. It's a sign that they're not going to be sympathetic to you. They're not going to be empathetic. They're not going to be sensitive to your needs and you don't need that type of hassle. Like I've got to move my home, which is going to be really horrendous for me in some ways. I've got to like look at it as a positive thing. I've got to think, okay, it's a new fresh beginning. It'll be like a different location. I might get a much better flat than the one I've got now because like it does have some mold in the shower room and this one it does have some mold a bit down the walls sometimes. It's like not the best, like there's lots of paintwork that needs doing. And so there's some stuff that isn't good in this place, but I love it so much, but I've got to move now. I've got no choice. So yeah, because the person's taking it over, buying it and taking it over, it's actually their son. By January, like probably the third or fourth week in January, they'll be in here and they want it as a family home and everyone vacated from it. So I got no choice but to move. But if anyone is very insensitive and likes something in a post that they're not supposed to like, I know they could genuinely maybe make a mistake occasionally, but usually someone who's a good person, they'll may heart something by accident. They'll be like, "Oh no, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to heart that," and they'll immediately change it. But I had to say to this guy, like, "Why have you hearted that when I'm really upset and been upset all day about it?" Like, well, since I found out, You know, like, people who are good people don't go down doing that. They usually like, "I'm really sorry for your pain, like, what extra support can I give you? What help can I give you? I'm here for you. I'm really sorry you're going through this." They don't usually heart something that's traumatizing and upsetting for you. Like, what type of person does that? It's someone who's very insensitive and not gonna be a good person to have as a friend, even let alone a relationship. You know what I mean? You don't want these type of people in your life. You only want people who care about you, respect you, and who feel your pain, you know? You must know, if you follow me on this channel for years, how difficult it's gonna be emotionally for me to leave this place. I mean, I have prepared myself in some ways because I have actually thought about moving out, because some of it's not very well kept, you know, there's quite a lot of work that needs doing to the property because it's a very old house. So it's not like I've never thought about it. So I'm glad I have actually thought about it, but it's still going to be like horrendous to have to leave somewhere that I've been for years of my life. That's a big part of my life that I felt safe in for years, because I've lived in some rubbish places in my city, like places where they've been, it's really horrible talking this, but places where the guys have been beating their girlfriends up. Girl, like one place, the girl was screaming on and was actually on top of the roof because she was trying to get away from a boyfriend hurting her. I've been in places where they've had drugs and beating down the door to get to drugs and all sorts of stuff. And that was in my, what I call my past life. And there's no way I want to end up going to a property like, I mean, obviously when I go to the property, I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't go going, oh, I'm going to go there and it's going to be like this. No, like, I've lived in a place aesthetically as well, which was beautiful, like stunningly gorgeous looking. I got in there and it was horrendous because it was like a converted flat, and the guy downstairs, you could hear him on his drums. The bedroom, I was in the bedroom one night, you could hear the woman upstairs having sex with her boyfriend, like, you were in the same room because the paper walls, like, and floors were paper thin. I mean, that's just disgusting, you know, like, I hate sex as it is because I'm a sex repulsed asexual, and having to listen to that is just hideous, you know. And so, you know, the lounge would have someone drumming underneath, the bedroom would have someone above doing that, and it's like, oh my god, you just can't get away from it, and it was awful. So, you know, like, I'm going through a difficult time now, and anyone who is going through a difficult time, you do not want people in your life that are basically like going, yeah, that's great, thumbs up to your difficult life, or like, oh, hearting comments where your life's difficult, you know, that's horrible. There was a so-called friend I had at primary school. I haven't said this before, but anyway, she was meant to be my friend. And years ago, it was when I was 10 and at school, and I said my hamsters died, and I was so upset. And I said I wish I was dead, because at that time I didn't have self-love, and I was so upset about my hamster dying. And she's like, "Oh, I wish you were too." And then after that, I was never friends with her again. It was horrible atmosphere between me and her, but I thought I cannot be friends with someone who speaks to me like that. Is basically saying she wishes I was dead too. It's horrible. How is that a best friend? She's supposed to be my best friend. Clearly not, you know? And so, you know, anyone who goes round like being like that. Also, years ago, I came across an asexual guy on a dating site. I think it might have been Asexuality, I think, or ace-book.net. I can't remember which one. And we did this video call, and I was telling him about some of the past abusive relationship stuff I went through. And he was like basically agreeing with the abuser. So any person who you say anything to about abuse, and they basically think it's okay to abuse you, and they're on the side of the abuser, is clearly not a good person to be around, and you just get the hell out of the life of that person. There is absolutely no way that you want to be around anyone who thinks anything like that's any good. And if a person turns around and goes, "Oh yeah, I wish you were dead too," then clearly they are no good for you. These people are manipulators, controllers, abusers, horrible people, you know. Why would you say that to someone who's meant to be your friend or you're meant to care about? You just wouldn't, you know. So anyone who's got this type of attitude where, you know, they're being nasty is just horrible. Same as obviously if you've got someone who goes on about your looks, like a person either is with you know, and they accept your looks and like them and love them, or they just don't be with you. Like, I was on Quora the other day. Quora is an online forum. I don't know if you know it. It's spelled with a Quora. And there was someone in there, and they were posting about, "I don't know what to do. My girlfriend's getting fat and she's getting fat and fatter. And how should I tell her she's getting fatter?" And it's like, and there's people in this group going, "Oh, you have to tell her how unhealthy it is, blah, blah, blah." And I wrote a message saying, "Oh, well, if you don't like her for who she, just because she's putting on, if she's fat, I hate the word fat, but if she's putting on weight, or I don't remember if I use the word fat because they used it, or putting on weight, doesn't mean to say she's unhealthy. I mean, we don't even know because we're just like seeing this post from him, how much weight she had on in the first place. She could be underweight for all we know. We've only got him saying she's getting fatter, and like a guy saying that about a woman, I think is disgusting anyway. At the end of the day, people are cuddly, and that's fine. There's all types of body shapes and sizes. So what I said in the end, I said, "Oh, if you like," I said, "I wouldn't say anything like that. If that's the way you feel, leave them and let them find someone who likes a voluptuous figure, because there's some people out there that will love a voluptuous figure." That's what I mean. If you're more of a voluptuous person, if you're a bigger person, then get someone who likes a bigger body, isn't it? And who respects it and worships it. There are guys out there that actually love really big women, and I'm talking really big. You can see them on. I mean, I don't really. I've seen like programs, documentaries where there's people guys who specific like women with like who are terribly overweight. I mean, on purpose, they're just eating food because like some guys have actually fetishes with women who are very very huge. I mean, I'm talking that can barely get up out of the chair, and they have fetishes, and some people make a living out of eating stuff. They're just purposely stuffing their face to put weight on so they can do like, like OnlyFans, there's like a lot of sex videos that go on and that type of thing. There's like that type of thing for people who are really purposely having weight on them. And some women want to be really huge and ginormous to get the fans interested in them. So it's clearly some guys are into very, 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 very ginormous body shapes. I'm not saying that's healthy when they're stuffing their face purposely to put on weight just for like getting views of pretty much their naked body, which is like to the point where they could die of a heart attack. I'm not saying that's a good thing at all, but the average person, if they put on a little bit of weight or whatever, maybe a lot of the time people put on weight as well because they might be unhappy in their life or they might be depressed. And if they're with that person, the person's putting on weight, they should ask themselves, well, what am I doing? What behaviors am I doing to actually make them depressed, to want to eat more, to put on the weight? If it's a case of all over a sudden they're putting on weight because they're not happy, or is it their job? How can I help them? At the end of the day, if they don't like the way they are and they think everyone should be skinny, then they should just leave that person so that person can go and get someone who actually does love them for who they are and loves their body as they are. At the end of the day, body shapes change, facial shapes change, people change. But usually, if you've got someone with a kind heart who's loving and caring, that's the type of person you need to go for, Like, obviously, I like younger guys, but most younger guys are going to get older at some point. Do you know what I mean? Although I tend to like younger guys that don't really age much. But like if a guy, I in general like skinny guys. I'm just attracted to guys that are not muscly. So most women are attracted to muscles. I'm attracted to guys that are thin and skinny. But if a guy came along and he had loads of the qualities I love and he was a bigger guy, then I'd be fine. I just think he's cuddly. And when I'm cuddling him, I'd be able to put my head on his tummy and cuddle him and stuff like that. So I just switch my mind around like that, because the most important thing to me is I get a really nice guy who treats me well and who's beautiful. And I have been with a guy who is much bigger in the past. The reason I switched to liking skinny guys was because my long-term ex was that, and I actually liked his body. I got used to having a skinny body, as a partner with a skinny body, I should say. No, I didn't get used to having my body wasn't skinny, but I got used to like kissing a skinny body and being around a skinny body. And one of my exes was 15 stone. And he did crush me when we were kissing, and that kind of put me off. But I was with him because I still at that time loved him. Um, and like it didn't bother me in the sense that I loved him, but it was kind of physically it was crushing me. By he didn't mean to do that. And he wasn't that big when I met him. He was actually quite a thin guy when I met him, and he put on loads of weight. And I didn't leave him because of it. I was very into him at the time. So I think, like if a person changes body shape, they have to be prepared to know that someone's going to change their body shape eventually. No people usually say exactly the same in body shape. And what one person thinks is big, another person doesn't. Some people think a size 16 is big. Some people think size 24 is big. So a 16 actually is the average woman's size usually in clothing. It's actually not that big, but some people think size 16 is really big. So everything's like different to different people, and just because a person's bigger doesn't mean to say they're unhealthy. They could be eating loads of healthy stuff, just have a bigger body weight for different reasons. Like, for example, I'm not a skinny girl, and I eat late at night because I do a lot of work at night. When you eat at night, you've got a lower metabolism, so it doesn't burn it off as quickly usually. And I like eating, and I get low blood sugars and need to eat regularly anyway. But I need to find a guy that likes a voluptuous figure or just be happy staying single because I love my voluptuous figure, you know? And so it's very important that when you're dating, you find someone who is genuinely loving you as you are and who will want to be with you forever if it's a relationship with your heart and your personality, because at the end of the day, that's what is most important. If you've got a beautiful personality and beautiful soul and a heart and you're so kind and caring, you will look after their heart and take care of them too. You needed someone strong in a good way, someone who can say what they mean what they say, give you crystal clear clarity of their intention, and not have erratic behavior, but be very down to earth, sensible, give you a sense of security, never make you question how they feel about you, never make you question whether they're going to speak to you or not again, never make them question your friendship or relationship with them. You need someone who's stable and strong. Unfortunately, there seems to be quite a lot of people on the dating scene that aren't that stable or strong. And I found out from another dating coach it's because a lot of them have an avoidant attachment style. And so they're avoiding actually getting into a serious committed relationship because they've got an avoidant attachment style. So that's why there's a lot of people that want to hook up and they don't really want to emotionally connect on a deep level and don't want to take a relationship seriously because they're all looking basically for hookups because they're looking to not actually be vulnerable and put the time, energy, and effort in that it takes to get a serious committed relationship on a really loving, deep level. When you get into a relationship, you have to work on yourself constantly, as well as the other person has to work on themselves. And you have to work on, the relationship as a team. It takes work, time, energy, and effort. But a person who's a good person will realize that you can have freedom within a relationship and you can grow. A person who's a good person will realize, my God, this person makes me be a better version of myself. This person holds me to account. This person has got boundaries. You know, why would a guy want some woman who just lets him do what the hell he wants and like, oh yeah, you can just randomly call me whenever you want, you can do what you want when you want? Why would a guy who's got any integrity want a woman like that, who he can basically treat like a doormat? A good guy who's got integrity and worth about himself wouldn't want that. A guy who's got a woman who's like, okay, like you can't just randomly call me. We arrange a time to call. Like my top love language is quality time. That's with both my friends or in a relationship. So I need a guy who's willing to put the time, energy, and effort to video call me, to text me, to audio call me, to keep in consistent and persistent contact with me, to on a daily basis. Someone who's willing to like schedule calls, not me say, oh, when do you want to call next? Him going like, look, let's book it on the calendar, like get it done, because I want to spend time with you. I want to speak to you. I want to see you. I want you in my life, So you got to look out for the red flags and you got to think, what behavior do I want instead? Where would I get this person who's got this behavior from? Like, where would they mostly be located, And anyone that's coming into your life, you need to think like, are they valuing my time? Are they valuing my worth? Are they valuing my energy and effort? Are they putting as much time and energy and effort into the situation that I am? Are they caring about me on an equal level? Are they actually willing, like if it's a relationship you're talking about, are they willing to put in the time, energy, and effort? Because a relationship is a full-time job. Anyone who thinks it's not is like deluding themselves. A relationship requires work. any relationship requires work. You still have to, like, be mindful of what you say. You still have to communicate effectively. You sometimes have to have difficult conversations, even with your friends. You know, if something's not quite right, you have to say, "Hey, I'm feeling this way." And, and it's difficult sometimes, but it can actually make your friendship or relationship better. And I think any good guy is going to want a woman or person who's literally going to hold them to accountability, who's going to not allow them to mess them around, who's going to be a high quality person, right? Because if a guy is with a woman who's got integrity and who won't take his bullshit, basically, and who says, like, you want to spend time with me, like, me you do, like, you want to commit to me, show me a commitment, like, it's gonna be a reflection on them. If they've got a good woman who's got integrity and values her worth, it's gonna be a very good reflection on them, rather than being with a woman who they're treating like a doormat. And it's like, they shouldn't treat anyone like a doormat anyway. But, if they are, it's gonna be like, well, what does that say about you? It says that you just want an easy life for you, and you just want to control and manipulate someone. You just want to have everything on your own terms. You don't want to put any time, energy, and effort or work in. But obviously, being in the 21st century, dating a life at the moment, although I'm not actively dating anymore, but being in this lifetime, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of people who are just into hookup culture now. They don't want to have a serious relationship. They don't want to commit. It's too much time, energy, and effort for them. So, it's harder to find someone who's willing to put in the time, energy, and effort to commit as much as you do if you're that way inclined. And I only want to do that with a person who I believe is going to be my soulmate and with me for the rest of my life. I do not want to be putting in a lot of time, energy, and effort with guys that are just not going to be good for me. Any guys that are flaky as well, you don't want to be doing that. Any guys that minimal effort, oh, I'll say hi to the person and that's it. That's not a genuine friendship or relationship potential. It's just nothing. It's just like, oh, I like the look of that girl, so I'll just say hi to her. It's just, you don't want this type of person. Anyway, I hope you found this useful, helpful insight. If you have, please give it a thumbs up this video. Thank you for everyone who's thumbs upped it so far. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. And if you haven't bought Asexual Perspectives yet, go and get it on Amazon now, because it's delightful and insightful guide to love, life, and dating, relationships, all that type of thing from an asexual point of view. And so, yeah, I will see you on the next video or live stream. When I say dating, it's got mostly to do with actual relationships and their love life and sex, rather than dating as such. It's not a specific dating book. It's basically got asexual perspectives of what they think of love life and sex. But yes, so anyway, Amazon, that's on Asexual Perspectives. So I will love you and leave you for now. I wish you the best of days, best of life. Always stay ace. I'll see you soon next video live stream. Lots of love. Mwah! And subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon. I'm so happy to see you. Take care. Bye. Lots of love. Bye.